This presentation is on behalf of Rob Astbury. After 22 years working in radio and television, Rob joined Channel 7 this year.
Good evening. A hard-hitting, committed Geelong bounced back from last week's disaster.
One of the most dramatic sports stories this year was St Kilda's decision to dump coach Daryl Baldock. Rob agreed to a request by a club official to hold the story for 24 hours, but when he eventually broke the news exclusively on Channel 7, it was followed by other television and radio stations and made headlines in all three daily newspapers.
Daryl Baldock captained the Saints to their only premiership in 1966, and his appointment as coach in 1987 was hailed as a real coup. Baldock has lifted the Saints out of the doldrums, but their aspirations of making the finals this year ended abruptly last Friday. Today, officials confirmed an early morning meeting with Baldock took place, but refused to elaborate. However, unless he agrees next week to step down at the end of the season, he will be sacked.
You told me before training that this was a shock for you.
Well, it would be a shock because I met the board this morning and there was no discussion about my position. I was asked, did I want to coach next year? And I couldn't give them an straight answer.
Is football as ruthless as politics?
Well, I suppose it could be, yes.
Arguably, the biggest football story of the year concerned the VFL's proposed changes to the player rules. Rob broke the story exclusively 7 days before it was announced publicly by the VFL.
The Brisbane Bears and the West Coast Eagles are wallowing near the bottom of the ladder, while Sydney, who now feels the oldest side, will soon be desperate for assistance. Two of the league's most experienced officials, Alan Swab and Barry Capuano, are the architects of a plan designed to salvage the interstate clubs. Based on dramatic changes to the player rules, the highly confidential report will become public next week. The West Coast Eagles would field a reserve side locally or in VFL and increase its player list to 52. The top 8 Melbourne-based clubs will be asked to contribute to a pool of players from which the Bears would select 8. There would be incentives for clubs who cooperate, but the guidelines are strict and require players nominated to be medically sound and under 25.
They won't be rules that'll be dramatic, that clubs won't lose their outstanding players, but they're rules that hopefully can give clubs such as the Bears and the Eagles, who have started in or really only been playing for a short while, and the Sydney Swans, an input to make them more competitive.
Rob was first to reveal hostile reaction from the clubs.
Since the Commission has been running football, it's encountered many sensitive issues. However, unless this proposal is handled delicately, the Commission will find itself on a serious collision course.
Collingwood are furious, and today its president, Alan McAllister, echoed the resentment felt by most clubs.
When the league have made their gravest mistakes, and we all make mistakes, is when they jumped in quickly. And I caution them to go very slowly on this particular one.
McAllister emphasised he wants to see the Bears competitive, but says they must serve their apprenticeship.
We will certainly fight the issue if it becomes fait accompli, as has happened on one occasion that annoyed me, where they've said, this has happened, gentlemen. That will infuriate me. You must remember, the VFL are the commissioners. They are the agents of the owners. The owners are the VFL directors.
Hawthorn Chief John Lauritz says the proposal is being treated as a discussion paper. Our board want to examine it. Until now, we've only heard about it through the media. Melbourne official Tony King said, we're reluctant to give up players. The Commission should remember the clubs are the VFL. While Geelong's Ken Gannon believes the plan will be treated with caution until fully examined.
Besides hardline news, Rob also presented human interest stories. And to conclude this presentation, a story which received a remarkable response from viewers after it was seen on Channel 7.
Andrew Coates was always destined to be an umpire, but achieving that goal in the big league has not been without trauma. 23-year-old Andrew was born the day his father started umpiring. Ian Coates made headlines in 1972 when he was knocked out after umpiring the drawn semi-final between Carlton and Richmond. Later, Coates contracted motor neurone disease, making him a prisoner in his own body, similar to a quadriplegic. Despite the illness, he became an umpire's observer and learned to operate a video recorder with his toes. After 13 years, Andrew's dad lost his battle to survive, and even though Ian wasn't alive to see his son's senior VFL debut, Andrew nominates his father as the person who had the greatest influence on his career.
When I got out into the field, actually, I was thinking of Dad and shed a tear or two as I was going out, but once the game gets along the way, off you go and you're into your job. So.
Do you think he would have been proud of you?
I think so. I think he would have been looking down on me and being pretty proud, yeah.
Andrew says umpiring demands enormous sacrifices for little remuneration, but he enjoys the job so much he'd do it for nothing. Rob Astbury, 7 Nightly News.